Well, welcome everybody. I'm here with Kenan Paula, CEO and founder of Kids for Community. Kenan, it is great to see you. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm always happy to come out and support and talk with you.
Well, we've known each other for a few years.
Definitely.
Your mom sat on our board for many years, and that's how we first connected. You've done amazing things. You're about to finish what year of high school?
Junior year.
Junior year,
Yep.
yeah. And you started and founded your own nonprofit organization. How old were you then?
I want to say I was 12 or 13. Definitely a while ago. But it was all for good reason. I really wanted to help engage kids in the community, thus the name Kids for Community. And it was really all about, engaging in homelessness, because I had seen through my mom and my parents that was definitely a prevalent issue in San Diego. And then, of course, adding the kid element to it, too, because, kids are 25% of the population, but we are 100% of the future. So if you really do want to have that long-term impact, why not start young?
Well, and you certainly started young.
Definitely.
Starting your own nonprofit at 12 or 13 years old is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about how you work to engage kids and their
Definitely.
families. But you mentioned that Kids for Community has a focus on homelessness.
Yes.
There are so many issues out there, so many things that you can get involved with. Why homelessness?
Definitely. Well, it all started when I was running at a beach in Torrey Pines. And my dad and I came across this sick baby seal on the side of the beach on our way back. And we had noticed that there were a lot of people around the seal. They were giving it blankets. They were calling park rangers. They were notifying animal shelters. They really wanted to make sure the seal was okay.
It was a big deal.
It was a very big deal. It was crazy. And then, we drive back the same day. I don't even want to say 30 minutes later, and we drive past a homeless man who was in the same position as this seal. He's sick and he's clearly in need of help. But instead of people going out of their way to really help him, they drove by him, they walked by him, they cycled by him, they treated him like he was invisible. And that was just really appalling to me. And I just read another statistic the other day that reinforced that people are more likely to give food to a stray dog first before a homeless person. Which
Really?
I just found that very surprising. And then even on Wednesday, again, I was going to the doctor, and we were in a parking lot, and we saw two police officers kick a homeless man out of the parking lot. And it was getting close to dark, and he had nowhere to go. So really all of it just shows you that homelessness is definitely prevalent in our society, especially in San Diego. It's a very local issue. And what I've noticed is, people aren't very aware of the issue. And it all starts with the awareness if we really do want to start solving the problem and be a community about it. So that's what prompted me to really focus on homelessness and get kids involved.
Amazing. And kids bring a different perspective to the issue. And I have two young girls, and my oldest, who's 8 years old now, she said to me the other day when she saw somebody who, she thought was experiencing homelessness. And so we started talking about the ways we could help and what we could do. And then when we went by where that person was again, they weren't there anymore. And she said, "Well, Dad, what are we going to do? Like, we have to help that person." And that level of humanity and commitment and lack of cynicism, lack of jadedness,
exactly,
is really a special thing.
Oh yeah,
that is so important to our humanity.
Definitely.
And so I'm thinking about the impact that you were having through engaging kids in getting involved and bringing their parents along with them. So can you share a little bit about your organization, who you founded, Kids for Community, and how it works?
Definitely. So like I mentioned, I started it when I was 12 or 13. And we started working with you guys, actually doing just dinner servings once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks here, just to introduce kids to an environment where, there are homeless people, and to really expose them to this unfortunate reality. That is definitely a growing crisis in the city. And then from there, we branched out to doing more bigger events, larger scale events, once we started getting a name for ourselves. And those took place, I want to say, they started in 2017.
Okay.
We did ones for Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Katrina, the Mexico
So what do you do?
earthquakes.
What are those events?
Definitely. We made thousands of care packages. We did. My favorite one was in Hurricane Irma. We made these shirts that had really encouraging messages on them, and the kids drew on them, hurricane survivor, you can do this, these really positive, reinforcing messages just out of the kindness of their heart. And then just recently we worked with you guys at your warehouse and we did the Bags of Hope event, which was again like that. We just make these care packages, but we add the personal touch of like maybe a customizable tote bag to just really add that sustainability and add that like that kid touch to it, because that, like you said, is definitely a unique perspective that you can bring and help deal with the issue. And
so one of the reasons you created this foundation is that there were not opportunities for kids to go out and volunteer.
Exactly.
Most volunteer opportunities that you were looking to find, or that your parents were looking to find, you had to be 18 years or older.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's amazing that you're creating these opportunities for kids to volunteer, make a difference.
Yep.
And then they're bringing their parents along too.
Yeah, exactly. I do owe it all to my parents. They came from Turkey in 1998, 1997, and they really understood that America is this special and unique place where there really are a lot of opportunities if you go out and seize them. And then bringing me up, they wanted me to understand that, I'm very lucky to be here and we should do all that I can to give back. And luckily they persevered and found organizations like you guys that really do open it up to the community for volunteering. But I do remember the frustration in finding places where I could, serve at a dinner shelter or things like that. And then once I finally got to age, I finally realized that, I have lucky parents. I'm lucky to have these parents that really do help. And I should work to, make sure everyone has those opportunities, because there are kids that do volunteer but can't because of the opportunities.
Well, and you have I think you're unique in a lot of ways. But the gift of being aware of your fortune is something that a lot of people, forget about age, just a lot of people don't have.
Exactly.
And so I think that's even furthered when you spend time here at Interfaith Community Services and you're volunteering to help people who are in our shelter and don't have housing of their own. What kind of impact have you seen, either for yourself or other kids who have volunteered, as a result of coming in here and being side by side and helping people through our Haven House shelter?
Definitely. I think there are 3 things that I've noticed in volunteering. The 3 would be, just in quick summary, finding it just really shows another side. Homelessness is not just a statistic. 1, 2, it reinforces the idea of a strength of the community on both sides of the issue. And then 3, of course, it teaches you to be grateful for the little things in life, and that we don't really need everything that we have. To explain more, with homelessness, you can read the statistics, and they're insane statistics online for hours and not really feel any sympathy or empathy for the issue and feel the urge to act. But it takes maybe 1 hour coming out, even to Interfaith, and just serving dinner to really understand the issue, coming face to face with it and feeling that empathy and really wanting to do more. And I think that through my years of volunteering, and hopefully with other people as well, you really show them a face to the crisis and make them want to do more, because they see that it's more than just numbers. It's definitely like these are people's lives that are being negatively affected. And sometimes they don't really have much control over it. And all it takes is for one person to really go out and care and to make that difference. With the community aspect, I want to say that's more being here, seeing the community in this Haven House, supporting each other, being there for each other, and then seeing the community come out. Now when we post events, they fill up in days or hours, like really quickly, and that just really shows that there's a community that wants to volunteer. And seeing the community on both sides of that, I guess that's why we call it Kids for Community. It's just the community is so important in making these impacts, and volunteering at Interfaith and volunteering with you guys has really shown me that the strength of the community is really there, and that can really help us. And then, of course, finding out, you don't need all these daily items, seeing everyone get so happy about these store-bought dinner meals, it just really does add, maybe I don't need to have this really expensive meal Saturday night, and I can make my own thing. Those little things really do give you perspective, and they help your lives, not only the lives that you're volunteering. And I think that's one of the beauties of volunteering.
Well said, Kenan.
Thank you.
So you've been doing this for a few years now,
Definitely.
Volunteering in our Haven House shelter, serving meals. Kids for Community has organized these big, giant community events. You organized a 5K, or was it a 10K?
It was a 5K.
A 5K.
That was fun.
That was so much fun. And for our listeners and viewers, Kenan, you're also a very accomplished athlete. So is it track and field or cross country? I'm sorry, I don't know the...
It's both.
Both,
it's
okay.
It's a partnership duo.
So you're doing a lot in this world, yet you're making time to do this work here. And you've been doing it for a few years. So I'm curious, listeners, viewers now, they're they're intrigued, they're inspired. Maybe they've supported Interfaith with contributions, or they've just stumbled upon this podcast and they're trying to understand how to make a difference. What's something that you've learned or something that you think is important to share from the experiences that you have doing this work?
Definitely. In my volunteering, and I actually just learned this in my economics class too, is it's really important to recognize the longevity of anything. You can say start small, but that's definitely valid. But if you really do want to make a very significant and sustainable impact in the long run, you do have to understand that that's not going to happen overnight. Pinpointing the exact area that you want to focus on. For me, it was homelessness and getting the youth involved. And then from there, starting small, whether it be monthly dinner servings or things like that. And then working once you get the support, once you get the traction, doing bigger events like our Bags of Hope event or Bright Futures 5K, really things like that. And that really does go to creating sustainability. I'm a big fan just in the corporate world and in volunteering about creating sustainability. And if you really do want to have a big impact, whether it's local or international, you have to understand the importance of the longevity in the issue and you need to see if you can create sustainability. And I think that's a lot. That's what we're trying to work with now. We're working with a lot of organizations to try and create these programs for when I go off to college are still functioning, whether they be like Kids for a Community or not, just so that we have that sustainability and we keep working, whether it's through Kids for a Community or not, to get kids involved in the community and in San Diego to keep volunteering and making a difference.
And you have a big partnership that you're working on now that isn't quite ready for sharing here.
Exactly.
But for our listeners and our viewers, go to the Kids for Community website, or reach out to Kenan or myself. And I'm excited to be able to work with you on this next partnership that you're working on. But the point is now, to what you just said, sustainability is key. And in this work of addressing some of society's biggest challenges, because homelessness is the result of a lot of problems in our world, in our society, we can only do it sustainably with the community's involvement. So that's kids involved, that's families involved, that's individuals involved, that's viewers and listeners here today getting involved. So check out the Interfaith website. Lots of volunteer opportunities. Kids for Community, you're planning events, I think, coming up this fall as the world
once
starts
we start
to
opening up. I'm very excited to do that.
And then we'll have more partnerships to share.
For sure.
So, Kenan, my last question for you today. My mom used to say when I had somebody like a friend or a family member who's really smart, she'd be like, "It's a good thing that person's like a good person, because like their skills are going for good." I feel the same way about you. I'm like, you started your own nonprofit at 12. You're this amazing athlete. You're committed to our community. You understand the impact and the need for sustainability. So my question for you is, you're coming up on the end of your junior year of high school.
Crazy.
You're looking at Ivy League schools in the future. What's the future for you? What are your goals in life?
Definitely. Well, I guess my overarching goal in life is to create economic and social value in society. And I feel that the best way to go about doing that is definitely giving back to the community, but building up that wealth so that I can really make a really big impact over time. I really do like these new innovative industries like blockchain and automation. So hopefully I'll go off to college, gain some expertise in economics, finance, quantitative social sciences, and then go and start a company like this from the ground up and invest in startups and things like that to build that wealth. And then I do really want to spend my time after that giving back to the community, helping organizations like you do the amazing things that you do, and really, really supporting the community. Definitely continuing something like Kids for Community is great, but I do want to take it to another level and really make that big sustainable impact like you talk about, whether it be building homeless shelters like you guys are doing, creating an organization, a food program, things like that, because I am an avid fan of sustainability and innovation. So I'm really excited to see where the future will take me, but I know that it will take me back to places like these to make a difference.
Well, I have no doubt that you're going to be wildly successful in that regard, Kenan. I am so appreciative for who you are, for all that you've done for us, for the community, all the kids and families that you've gotten involved. It's just really making quite an impact and will for generations to come.
Thank you so much.
But before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Definitely. I mean, I do want to add, volunteering is not supposed to be intimidating. You can definitely have fun doing it. I definitely have a lot of fun organizing our events, one of them being the Bright Futures 5K. I combined my passion of running with something that was like with volunteering with you guys, and I think it definitely had an impact. So, when you're looking to volunteer, definitely look at the ways that you can make the biggest impact in the long term, understanding to start small. But of course, you have to have fun. It has to be something that you're passionate about. Otherwise, it's going to feel like another job. So I definitely do want to stress that. Just have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun doing it, and you should do great.
Make a difference, have fun while you're doing it.
Exactly. What better way?
Absolutely. Well, check out in the notes, we'll have links to the Kids for Community website, Interfaith website, lots of ways to get involved. And we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. So you want to connect with us, connect with Kids for Community. Kenan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.